Get ready, Elon Musk. You're going to be facing a very annoyed judge in Pennsylvania state court because your efforts to drag the case to federal court just died. A federal judge just ruled against Elon Musk and his lawyers in his attempts to take his illegal lottery case out of Philadelphia state court and drag it to federal court. I'll cover it all. I'm Michael Popok from the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Let's start with how he got here and why the judge in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia is so pissed off and may find Elon Musk in contempt. First of all, just a few days ago, the DA in Philadelphia, Larry Krasner, sort of controversial person, but he decided that this $1 million giveaway by Elon Musk with his PAC in support of Donald Trump to try to buy votes and buy voter registration in the battleground state of Pennsylvania is probably illegal under Pennsylvania's lottery statute. And when you have an illegal lottery, what do you do when you're a DA? You shut it down with an emergency application. And that's exactly what Larry Krasner did. And he filed in the Court of Common Pleas. That's their trial level court in Philadelphia. And they got a judge, Judge Angelo Foliata. I think every state the judges should have a name that is reflective of the culture and the vibrancy of the community. That's why I love Angelo Foliata. And he said, everybody show up. This is supposed to be Thursday. Show up, everybody, all parties, including you, Elon Musk, 10 a.m. City Hall at my courthouse, my courtroom. Elon Musk didn't show up. And his lawyer said, that's because, Judge, we're trying to take this case over to federal court. Now, there's a unique side story there about the lawyer that Elon Musk hired in order to try to drag the case across the street to federal court. But let me leave that for a minute. And the judge said, well, everybody was supposed to be here. And the DA's office made a slight joke and said, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, he can put a rocket on the Mars or whatever it is, but he can't show up in court on time at 10 a.m. And they're right about that. And the judge says, rather than hold a contempt hearing and for sanctions because Elon Musk failed to show and blew me off, let's see what happens with his attempt to take the court to federal court. His federal removal papers is what it's called. And the judge sort of kept his powder dry to see what was going to happen there. And so when it got filed in federal court, it got assigned to a judge. That's where Judge Gerald Papert, federal judge in Philadelphia, comes in. He's a Republican, but he's moderate, and he was appointed by Obama. And he said, all right, let me see the papers. And DA Krasner, who brought this case on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania against Elon Musk and the America PAC, he said, you know what? I want to see Elon Musk's reason and rationale for why I got to keep this case in federal court, because it's limited jurisdiction in federal court. What are your grounds? Tell me by 10 a.m. this morning, which he did. And now, just about 6 hours later, the judge ruled. Now, let me tell you what was wrong with the papers that Elon Musk filed. First of all, he went out and got a lawyer. I don't know who this lawyer is exactly, but I do know he's got an axe to grind against DA Krasner in Philadelphia, Matt Haverstick. He represented the Republicans in the Pennsylvania House who tried to impeach DA Krasner. This is that era when all the Republican houses were going after all what they saw as the woke prosecutors who, because there was crime going on. Oh my God, there's crime in Philadelphia. There's been crime in Philadelphia since I was a small, wee child. And yet they were blaming Larry Krasner for it. He's a woke prosecutor, supported by George Soros, that whole group of prosecutors that all got attacked by Governor DeSantis in Florida. And here, Pennsylvania, they went after Krasner. This lawyer that Elon Musk just hired, Matt Haverstick, he was the lawyer that went after Krasner. So here we go, right? And now, but in order to get into a courthouse that's federal, you got to have a ticket into the courthouse. First, you have to show you have a right to take your state case into federal court. And there's only two ways to do it, and they failed on both. The first one was almost laughable. The first way you can get into federal court is you have to argue that you have what's called complete diversity of jurisdiction. Meaning on one side, the plaintiffs, on the one side of the V, the plaintiff side, they reside in some state. And on the other side of the V, the person or the entity resides in another state, and they're diverse, they're different. And the amount in controversy is about $75,000 or more. I think they failed for two reasons. First of all, you can't do diversity jurisdiction analysis when the party on one side, the plaintiff, is a state. And they are suing in their state because the federal jurisprudence analysis says that's not diverse. that a state is, once they sue in their state, kind of home rule, you can't drag them anywhere else. They get to stay right there, and you don't use their state as a diversity analysis. So the way around that, not successful, was for Elon Musk lawyers to argue, oh, it's not the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that's suing Elon Musk, despite the fact that it says right here, it's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It is Larry Krasner himself. It's Larry Krasner. And Krasner lives in Philly, and my guy lives in Texas. We've got diversity, right, Judge? Nothing else to see here? And the federal judge said, no. This is not Krasner bringing this case against the illegal lottery. It's the Commonwealth. It's the state of Pennsylvania. And I also think there's an issue with the $75,000 requirement because they weren't seeking money per se. They were seeking an injunction to shut down the lottery. That's not a $75,000 amount in controversy. So I think they lose for that reason. What's better than a clean kitchen? A kitchen that doesn't smell. With Lomi, that gross trash smell is gone, and my kitchen feels fresh all the time. Lomi lets me turn my food scraps into dirt with the push of a button. It's a countertop electric composter that takes my waste and transforms it into nutrient-rich dirt in less than 4 hours. I run it while I sleep, just like my dishwasher. No more smelly trash bins, and it's so quiet you barely notice it. Since I got my Lomi, I'm taking out way less garbage. I used to struggle with 3 or 4 full bags of trash every week. Now I'm down to just 1. Just last night after dinner, I tossed all the leftovers into Lomi, hit the button, and by morning, it was dirt instead of a smelly garbage bag. What I love most is how much waste I'm keeping out of landfills. Less trash means less methane. And with Lomi, I'm turning that waste into nutrient-rich dirt that my plants absolutely love. Getting and using my Lomi makes me feel like I am making my household's contribution to saving our planet and helping the environment with just a push of a button. That turns my garbage into, well, Lomi earth that I can easily recycle and use with my plants and in my garden. Lomi is part of a lifestyle for my family and me, as we are focused on leaving as little footprints on the earth, so to speak, as we can in everything we do. And now Lomi lets us get the kitchen and garbage in on the act too. If you're ready to start making a positive environmental impact and make cleanup a breeze, Lomi is exactly what you need. Head over to lomi.com/legalaf and use promo code legalaf to get $50 off your Lomi. That's $50 off when you go to lomi.com/legalaf and use promo code legalaf at checkout. Say goodbye to food waste and hello to a cleaner, greener kitchen with Lomi. And with the holidays coming up, Lomi makes the perfect gift for someone on your shopping list. Their second argument was, well, if you don't like that one, Judge, and he didn't. The second argument we have to stay in federal court is that a federal question predominates the dispute here, meaning they're not suing over the lottery. They're suing because they don't like the fact that we're violating federal election law. I mean, they didn't say it quite that way. The federal election law is really what's at issue here, Judge. And the lottery is just a ruse. It's just a disguise. It's just an excuse. Don't let them do it. And the judge rejected that too, I am sure. I don't know exactly because the judge issued a very short order that just said, motion for remand granted, motion for removal denied, and the case now goes back to the state court judge in Philadelphia, who, this is my artist rendering of him, just sort of waiting for Elon Musk to return to the courtroom, where I think he's going to say, now, Mr. Musk, this court issued an order for all parties to attend. You agree with me? You're a party, right, sir? Yes. Okay. And my order said 10 a.m., Court of Common Pleas, City Hall, Philadelphia, all parties, right? You got that? Your lawyers told you about that? Yes. Okay. And you weren't here, right? It wasn't a figment of my imagination. You weren't in the courtroom at 10 a.m. or at any other time, right? Right. You made a decision to let your lawyers show up and take the punishment, right? Well, sort of, Judge. And then you filed some sort of federal pleading, try to get away from me. And now you're back. And what I said at the time, you weren't here, but I'm sure your lawyers have told you, is that I will deal with your contumacious behavior, the fact that you're in contempt of court, at another time. Well, I've just looked at my watch, Mr. Musk. It's that other time. That's sort of what I think is going to go on. But really, they're there for an emergency application to shut down that lottery and stop handing out those checks. Would you believe that Elon Musk has handed out not one, not two, but like several $million checks? Talk about having too much time and money on your hands to try to buy the election in this important battleground state of Pennsylvania. I'm glad Krasner did something about it. I know he got some criticism, so there was some tittering going on in the back, like that's the best he's got. But he couldn't bring federal charges. First of all, he's a DA. So if he's not in the federal court system in that way, and the feds aren't touching this while we're only hours away from Tuesday. So it's the only thing he could do. And I thought it was very creative and I like it. And I think Judge Foliati is going to find it very interesting also. So what's the headline? Elon Musk and his little trickery to try to hire a lawyer that had an axe to grind against the DA that failed before is now a two-time loser against Larry Krasner. It's Larry Krasner 2, lawyers against him 0. And we're not going to know what happened in the future in Judge Pappert's courtroom federally, because it's going back to the original judge of the Court of Common Pleas, which is in the historic City Hall in Philadelphia. And I will follow it closely. What happens next? I think he issues the emergency injunction. I think he shuts down the handing out of checks between now and Tuesday to try to buy voter registration and buy votes. I mean, even Elon Musk knows he was doing something wrong. Because at some point, the first 2 days, he was like, it's a lottery and I'm handing out checks, which is exactly violative of federal law and of the state lottery law. Then he said, well, no, it's not a lottery. It's a job. I give you a job. You get $1 million job when you win by random lottery. Or maybe it's not really random. That's the problem. Give me all your personal data and tell me whether you're registered to vote. And then I'll give you the job. And the job is you're a spokesperson. Right. You're a spokesperson for the Trump campaign. Is that okay now? No. It's not okay federally. It's not okay by state either. And so I think that the judge in Pennsylvania, the common pleas judge, is going to make short work of this, to be frank with you. And I'm glad we're following it. It's happening hourly. It's happening so fast. I did a hot take about the filing at 10 a.m. this morning. We couldn't get it up in time. And now I'm doing the update on it. That's how quick things move at the intersection of law and politics here on the MeidasTouch Network. It moves so quickly, we had to form a new channel just to keep up with it. It's called Legal AF. What else would we call it? It's at the intersection of law and politics. Find out what 62 million people a month, I'm not making these numbers up, already know that law and politics home is found on Legal AF and the YouTube channel. If you're searching for it, hit at Legal AF MTN for MeidasTouch Network or just Legal AF, and you'll find everything there. So until my next Legal AF, the podcast on Wednesdays and Saturdays, or my next Legal AF, the YouTube channel, this is Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.